What would you do differently with the design process and bringing Vincent in and just involving architects, designers from the outset?
Differently?
Yeah, like differently that you learned going through this process.
Here's actually an interesting perspective because I have a deeper respect for why clients just want to get started. You got a mortgage you're paying every month. Like every day that you're not working is just like costing you money. So I could understand that. I can confidently say that if we had delayed starting construction and continued to work through pre-construction, that I think we would have either finished it exactly the same amount of time or faster. Vincent and his team looked at this as an opportunity to really help grow the relationship between us, but also just his relationship with architecture, in the world, because they do projects all over the world. But this was an opportunity where it's like, this is the caliber of project Of Possible wants to be known for. Thank God that Vincent hopped on the horse and was like, dude, let's do this. We're going to do this together and change the world, to be corny. But like, that was a mutual agreement. He got paid for some of the work he put into it. He way over delivered, and was part of that process all the way to the finish line. That part is why that project ended up so good. We had a Slack channel, and it would be as simple as we are laying out the brick in the entryway. I can either align the edge of the brick with the edge of the reglet, or I can align it with the opposite side of the reglet so it's on the edge of the drywall. On the drawings, it's just a line. And Vince is like, hey, let's align it with this. It was down to those details that were still being considered. That's what made the difference.
Do you think that it's possible to do a project like that without concessions on a lot of the team's behalves? Like in my experience, so many of those jobs, if you want to get to that level, it's people absolutely loving what they're doing so much that if it's 10 hours, it's 8 hours for them, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're not necessarily looking to capture every single hour. They're just so immersed and enveloped and in love with that project that, it's like a passion project.
I wouldn't have been able to get through this project if it weren't for the trades and the vendors that, stuck their neck out, and some of these guys farther than I was even comfortable with. And I was just like, are you sure you're good? Like, we are pushing this way beyond what our agreement was. And they're like, dude, like, I believe in this project. Like, this is good for all of us. Like, let's just keep going. We'll figure it out. And that was like, those moments were the times I'd have chills on site. Be like, this is crazy, man. Like, everyone sees this as like, here's my like, everyone looks at this as a canvas to show their best work. Had a carpenter, he was putting up the cladding on the garage door, and he pulled me aside. He goes, Nick, I just want to thank you for actually having us on this job and letting us actually do a good fucking job. And he's like, I've been doing this a really long time, and it's been a very long time since I showed up to work, and I was excited about the fact that I get to just do my absolute best and not be told, do it faster, do it less expensive. That was just the morale on site, that everyone believed in that.
Do you think that's like realistic in the real world? Is that a thing?
No, I think it's definitely a thing. People need to make a living and should be paid well for the work that they do. But I think the difference between a normal project and a project like this is that they're making money, they're getting paid, like everyone's getting paid, they're making a good living. But those extra hours that might have been like lunchtime or extra hours at home when it's like, I should be shutting it off, but now I'm researching how to go back to 45 White Oak tomorrow and do something better. Like those are the incremental additions that when you compound that across a couple hundred people, like you actually see this difference in the end result.
I 100% agree with that and feel that if you want to get the best out of people, you have to give them the opportunity to be able to do cool stuff. You treat them well, pay them well, but I think that the difference between good and great often is giving somebody that freedom or that autonomy or just an opportunity to be able to really push their limits. And the people that are on board with that, that I think creates a world of difference in their life, their work life, in the projects. I wonder, like, it seems as though so many aspects of this project are you testing a market, not necessarily just with the numbers and the size and the specs and the comps and the type of work, but also just the environment that we're putting employees and subcontractors and designers and engineers. Are they going to get another one of these opportunities? Like, do you feel if you landed this project with a client that it's going to be the same type of do what's best, take your time, you'll get paid for it, no shortcuts? Or are we always going to have to be dealing with that in some way, shape, or form?
I don't think it's an on or off switch. There's a handful of trades that I can think of right off the top of my head where they were on my job doing really cool shit. And then I watch like some of their Instagram stories or like some of the other projects that they go and do, and they're not as cool.
Yeah.
And but like one specifically last week, I saw he started a new project and it was super fucking cool. And it was like, I'm not taking credit for that, but I know that because like firsthand, there's a lot of trades that we work with where it's like they were stuck doing the normal shit day in and day out. And then you give them this opportunity to come in and do really cool stuff. And then all of a sudden it opens up the world of like, hey, we, especially through our promotion and marketing, where it's like, hey, you should call this guy. Like he just did 45 Void. Oh my God, I know that project. Yeah, if he can do it there, like he can do it for us. So I think it really does kind of open the opportunity for anyone that wants to take the opportunity to go and do better work. And that's what that is one of the things I love so much about it. And I love and I truly love showcasing that and showcasing the trades and the products and the vendors, because ultimately they're what is helping us achieve these things.
Yeah. What about like getting down to the details of this project? That there's so many. It's the type of house or the type of project that's just made up of so many details. Like we discussed earlier, it's not just one or two, it's the entire house. If there were a handful of things that you're most proud of or that you'd want to showcase, or it's like, hey, all said and done, somebody came to us and they asked us to showcase 6 details that we integrated into this build, what do you think they'd be?
6?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be 6. It could be like your top handful. Like when you look at this project, or if this is the stepping stone for your career, like what are you basing that off of?
I'm going to rattle off a handful, in no particular order, and I know I'll forget things. I feel like I'm on the stage for the Grammys right now, trying to thank everyone. The stone details are pretty incredible. It's something that we point out a lot when I'm walking people through. I actually found out 2 days ago that the stone fabricator, we'll say, politely appreciated how far he was pushed with his capabilities on this project. Definitely the white oak. Madeira really crushed it. Some of those boards are 18 inches wide, 28 feet long. Really, really incredible. Obviously the plaster. I think the plaster is like without a doubt one of the most impressive things there, just with the curves, the flatness, the reveals, the trimless features. Obviously, the millwork. Ken built every single piece of millwork in that house, and there's a lot of custom pieces there. The skylight and the flared shingle underneath the skylight, the floor-to-ceiling glass, and how we buried all of the frame so it's truly, truly flush.
If you understand how hard it is to execute one detail, multiply that times 5,000, and then all of them need to perform and behave and interact correctly. Like the amount of headspace that must take up and what it would require is insane to think about.